I love you all, and I'm so happy to see you all back here on Snowbird with my DIY projects. And I already start placing the fairing compound on my hatch. However, I found out that I don't have any more polyester, so I can't mix my fairing compound anymore, so I have to kind of stop in the middle. After that, I went mixing the paint and just straight jump into my engine room and start brushing everything around there, and it just turns out really nice. Just take a look. I think it's gonna look really well. As you probably know why I didn't paint here, because I'm gonna open up and that's my diesel tank, and I need to check out my diesel and see how bad it is over there. As you can see here, one support is missing. If you follow my channel, then you know why it's so, and completely rebuild these two pads, and here's my support laying here in the dark. After the paint will be cured, I will place it back and it should be done. I think many of my followers are looking forward to me to open the diesel tank and see how it's gonna look inside. And it's the same for me, because I want to see how bad it is over there. Because I have no idea when it was opened before and what kind of situation is over there. But for now, I have to go back home, because this paint is just the worst smell ever. I thought I'm gonna share with you some things that I don't share often with anybody. This is the place where I put my thoughts together. This is one lovely place because it's like a pier, and it's pointing out to the most iconic places in Stockholm. I like looking at the roller coaster. You can see there, that's a roller coaster park. And it's a really nice island in the middle, and then there's like a castle for the king. It's a really beautiful place, and I just sit here. I thought I'm gonna share this one with you guys. So today is another day already, and I just came straight from my job to my boat, and it's already dark. It's just getting dark so fast now, and you can feel it's not so warm outside as well. It's getting really actually cold, and I can notice that by my paint, because I thought my paint will be dry. I can put back my engine pad or support, whatever you call it, and start working with my diesel tank. So removing like the diesel tank hatch and you know, so on. Why it's not dry yet? Usually it would be dry, but it's really cold now during the nights, and like literally during the nights we have about almost 0 degrees outside now. It's much to do, and at the same time I can't really figure it out which would be the best way and what should I do now, because my hatch also is kind of on hold because I still didn't get my polyester. And yes, I have my chain plates, but I need another person to help me out with that, because the bolts are going around, so that's not an option for today too. So today is Thursday, and I'm back in my sailboat, and after 2-3 days of break, actually, I am back again. So this is actually another day, and I was hoping that my paint is dry now, and it is quite dry, but not completely dry. So but still I can place back my engine mount, and after that I want to move to the front and finish my fairing compound on my hatch, because tomorrow is Friday and I decided to take Fridays off from my work to be able to work a little bit more on my boat. So if the fairing compound dry out until tomorrow, it means that I can sand and place another layer, and then sand and place another layer, and then eventually after a couple years I will be ready with it. So once again I jump into the engine room and start placing up my support. as far before is done everything correctly, then it shouldn't be any problem, and it wasn't, so it turned out really well. After that I jumped to the front of the boat and start placing up my fairing compound, because I start and I couldn't finish. But now I finished that as well, and tomorrow I can come back and do quite a huge things. Hopefully I can do quite huge things here on boat, because tomorrow I have a whole day to work here on the boat, which is so super cool. I'm so pumped and so excited. So see you tomorrow. And the ghost was hunting the house for every family that lived there. Oh my god, it's just crazy. It's raining. It's raining so much. And tomorrow is today. I am here already early in the morning and it's just raining so much. But I am really pumped to do the things that I want to do anyway, because I'm quite protected. But let's see if the fairing compound is dry. It seems like it is. You're probably like, oh my gosh, he don't know how to do this. Well, the first layer always looks rough, so no surprise. Been a bit thinking about taking off my diesel hatch today. So that would be a project for today too, so yeah. First I decided to go with some sanding, so to get a little bit more the roughness away, and eventually I leave it for now. Because now I am in the engine room, and I'm planning actually finally to take apart my diesel hatch, which is located close to the bilge area. So gonna start with this, and then we'll see how far I'm gonna go, because I think I'm gonna start with this and see. That's a good beginning, right? So friends, sorry for the noise. My neighbor is sanding his bottom of the boat. I'm starting with taking down all the bolts, quite many of them, specifically 20 bolts. Particularly one was really, didn't want to go off. I didn't have any other choice than to cut it off. So guys, my diesel tank hatch is off, and let's look how it looks inside. Oh, almost fuel tank with the diesel. I didn't expect to have so much fuel in my fuel tank, but I expect it's gonna be almost empty. You see how it's important to install the device that will measure how much the fuel I have in my fuel tank. So I figure out what I'm going to do here. I'm gonna make a round inspection hatch right here, and I just have enough space. Why I have enough space? Because I measure how far is the wall that divides the diesel tank, just like the wall I have here, so the diesel doesn't smash around and not making bubbles. And so it's just enough to make inspection hatch right here. There I don't have space enough to make any inspection hatch. Would be actually the perfect spot for it, but still this is functional too. And so yeah, my decision is pretty much place back the inspection hatch right now, like it was before. Just make a new seal and stuff. Also I need to change that screw that I screwed up. No, I cut it off actually. Yeah, and if you're asking me why I'm not taking out the diesel and stuff, it's over 220 liters inside. I am so impressed that I have so much, because I was using so much engine. So the engine doesn't really use so much diesel at all, so I can just driving with the engine if I want to. That's a good thing, by the way. However, I put my hand inside. So I was cleaning my hand afterwards. So I put my hand inside just to see if how bad it is inside or in the bottom, because that's the most thing. Everything that is in the diesel will eventually get all the way down to the bottom. So, and the bottom was surprisingly really good. I couldn't feel much dust or anything, just maybe a little bit some stuff, like just a little bit. So that's, I think it's quite normal to have like not perfectly clean. Still you have a water separator and filters and stuff, so they will do the job too. So I don't see the really reason to take out the fuel now and just to see is it really clean. So, and the fuel looks fine for me too, so I think I just go ahead and place everything back. However, I need to go to the store to buy a new seal. I need some hoses and generally I also need, how do you call it, I don't know. Well, the thing that will measure how much the fuel I have in my fuel tank. So that's the thing that I need to buy as well, because now I know the measurements. And yeah, so I'm gonna go to the store now and then I'm gonna come back again. I hope I'm not disappoint you all, because I pretty much open and close down. But why should I make a bigger project than it already is, right? So if it seems to look fine, then it should be fine, and that's the way I'm going to keep it. So I were in the store trying to get all the things that I need. At the end, the store didn't have the seal that I need for my hatch, and as I realized, the only seal that will work for me is the rubber. So, and the rubber is a special store where I didn't have time to go, so I have to leave that for the moment. But at least I got some other stuff. For example, device that will measure my fuel tank level. It's a fixed one, so they have a different sizes. So the one that suits for me is 50 centimeter long. Though it's a little bit more deeper in the fuel tank, but this is the closest one that will match my diesel tank depth. Finger crossed that I will find my drill that will be the measurements that I need. And of course, apparently I don't have the drill that I need, and it has like a screw type, so it has to be quite, well, it has to be the right dimension, and so you can make a hole and then screw it in. It's kind of weird, but should work. And as you probably notice, I don't have enemy 2000 network option, because it has option with enemy 2000, and then you can connect to your displays and all your cool features on the boat. I decided to go as simple as possible. So yeah, and also I'm trying to get the right drill and looking at the specs. These are dimensions. It's like 1/4 inch, or I have no idea. I can't read the inches. I don't know how much it is. And here in Europe we don't use that, and I can't find any specifications where it's in millimeters. So it's a bit frustrating. When I start converting it, 31.75, which is not correct. So that's on hold as well. But in meanwhile, I did a pipe connection, which turned out really well. I bought it a new one, because I thought the old one is not good enough, and I'm gonna replace with a new one, so that's done. So I were in the store and I got the drill. This is supposed to work only for the wood, but what I realized, it works for the glass fiber as well. Pretty good, while it's sharp. Comparing this kind of drill and then the one that I approach now, is quite a bit actually difference in the size, because for instance this is written down 29. But usually when I drill, it's actually a bit bigger. When I do something with this drill, it's exactly the size that I say. But I'm not quite sure. So first I'm gonna drill a hole in the wood, and then I'll try to fit it in and see if it works before I do anything on my glass fiber. So I drill a hole, and I think it's gonna fit really well, actually. Seems like it's not going through, so I have to screw it, and it's pretty like tight. So it should be the right dimension then. The big moment is to drill a hole in the diesel tank. So I drilled the hole and it was quite straightforward, really easy to drill with this drill. I really strongly recommend to use it. Now I need to fit this inside, and it has like already the rubber around, so you just need to kind of go in now. Let's give it a try. To install that piece of shit was so hard. It just didn't want to go in. Even though the hole is the right dimension, it's just so hard to start. Because there is nothing, you know, you have to kind of make it go in. But eventually I got it. I got it in, and now it is in, as you can see here. What I did, I placed a little bit water around so I can see if it's leaking, and it seems like it's not leaking. I know it's not a good idea to place the water, but you know, I have the water separator anyway. If there is any water in the diesel, it will separate it. And I didn't have any other idea how to test it. So that's done. Also I did the pipes. As you can see in the video, I measured the size, I cut the size, then since in the upper part where the deck pipe starting is a little bit bigger dimension than actually the true fitting that I made, I use a heat gun and heat up the pipe, and then eventually it went up really well, really easy actually. So I use a little bit of soap to be even easier to put it up, and it turned out really well. I think my engine room will look really beautiful. Remember about my inspection hatch that I want to place over there? So I decided not to do that, because I don't need it. If I ever want to do anything with my diesel tank, since I'm gonna place the rubber around, I can take down this hatch whenever I want, pretty much. In this pipe, the upper part I can screw off and actually see inside if I want to, place some camera or whatever. So I decided to keep this project a little bit simpler. In the engine room there is not so much left anymore, only except one thing that is quite big. I need to do the steering, so I need to bring the new steering to back of my router. I just want to thank you all who are following me. It's a super big motivation for me to keep moving forward with everything that I do. And sharing with you guys, it's a big advantage on many things. I get so much support, and people are texting me and wants to help me out. I'm really appreciative for that, and I can't wish more. If you can share my story with someone else, I would be so happy. And if you like my video, then thumbs up, and if you like my channel, go below and subscribe. That's the easiest way how to support me. So I end up this week's episode here, and see you in the next week. So for now, bye bye!